Kamala Harris is absolutely crazy. This is not a political video, but I want to go through how she is screwing with my legacy and my company and how it actually means something for real estate investors, people that are trading and making money by having their money work for them. I just went through, watched about 6 different videos. And no, I didn't just watch Fox News because Fox News is always going to be biased about business people. But what I wanted to do is share my opinion, obviously, but I wanted to break it down mathematically so that you can understand how this actually messes with investors like me. So her proposed tax bill will take 25% of unrealized taxes or unrealized capital gains out of a property that I haven't even sold yet. So think about this. I bought 5 houses right here: Sterling, Maddox, Sonnet, 87th Street, and Whispering Grove. All 5 properties that I'm currently selling right now that I bought 4 to 5 years ago. They've all gone up in value: 400,000, 200,000, 300,000, 200,000, 300,000, totaling $1.4 million in equity growth over those 4 to 5 years. That's the game of real estate, right? People say, I want cash flow. And cash flow is great, helps pay the daily bills for the jobs that I create. By the way, I have 600 employees. So I'm not somebody that's just going out there and hogging up all the real estate, as most people, maybe these tyrants will say, is like, oh, you're hogging all the real estate. Guys, I'm providing more jobs than you could ever even fathom in your life. Am I by any means a top 500 company in the world? No, but I'm doing my part to provide jobs. And this is how I provide my jobs, is the cash flow from this real estate provides jobs to people in my companies. How I make money is I wait for these properties to appreciate. Now, for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Pace Morby, and I wrote a Wall Street Journal best-selling book, actually, #1 on the Wall Street Journal list last summer, Wealth Without Cash. And what it talks about is how I buy these types of properties by taking over people's mortgages or by getting seller finance from these sellers. I have so many videos on how I do this on the channel. That's not what we're going to talk about today. But I bought these properties 4 or 5 years ago. My portfolio is about 300 single-family homes and about 1,500 multifamily properties, but 1,500 multifamily doors, totaling about $500 million in real estate. And I probably have about $380 to $420 million in debt. I don't know the exact number. I'd have to ask somebody on my team. So we're going out there and we're putting ourselves at risk. And we are providing rentals and affordable housing to people here. Most of what I'm doing on these properties is co-living. Okay, co-living means I'm renting by the room, and my average tenant is paying $875 per month. That's including utilities, including internet, and including their place to stay, including a cleaner come in once a week, and including landscape being done on the property as well, all for $875 a month. I'm providing affordable housing. So before the people that say stuff down in the comments like, oh, you're just a, freaking greedy SOB, guys, this is my business model, is providing affordable housing and helping people get off the streets or helping people have half the rent costs that they would normally pay. So here's my game plan. I buy these properties without cash, without credit, without credentials, but I had to learn something. I had to go through and put myself at risk. I had to go through turmoil and strife and all sorts of problems in order to get to a point where now these properties, over 4 to 5 years, I can sell them, and then I can do a 1031 exchange or a lazy 1031 exchange. Videos on my YouTube channel about how I do that. But I've got $1.4 million sitting here. What Kamala Harris is suggesting is that she would have charged me 25% of my gain every year. Okay, so that means over 4 to 5 years, I would have written a check 4 times here, 4 times here, 4 times here, 4 times here, and 4 times here. For every dollar that property went up in value that year, I would have to pay 25 cents every year, whether I had the cash or I didn't have the cash. So think about that. In order for me to be in this situation, let's say that I've got a tax bill on these 4 properties because Kamala Harris wants me to write a check of 25% of the gain of that year, whether it's 2020, 2021. Think about during COVID. Properties went up like crazy, 2020, 2021, and 2022. It went up like crazy. I would have been just shelling out tax bills on unrealized gains, which means I haven't even sold the property yet, and you're trying to take 25% of my money? And that's before I even get the money. So I have to go and find the money somewhere else to pay the bill on a property that has no realized gain. I have actually not made any gain yet. That is what she's proposing. This is absolutely crazy. And I think it's one of two things. It's either she's doing it to get the attention of all the Democrats that are like, I hate Republicans because they're just greedy. And guys, honestly, Democrats, you just don't understand us. And Republicans, you just don't understand the Democrats. There's more of a middle ground that needs to be done there. If you would just admit that we provide jobs and we actually put cash into the marketplace, we'd be a lot better off. And if we understood that, yes, more people need more opportunity, then yes, we'd be a lot better off. Totally get that. This is not a dividing conversation, but you need to understand that who you're voting for will dismantle the entire country. Real estate investors who are providing literally millions of jobs across the country will just stop doing real estate, because I would have had to have sold Sonnet to get my gain to then pay my bill. And then the next year I would have had to sell Maddox to get my money to then pay the gain on these properties. And I probably, by my calculation, I did the number this morning, I would have walked away with about $400,000, because my ability to compound my gain over those 4 or 5 years would have been so diminished that I would have lost $1 million to the federal government before I even sold the properties. And so I would have sold this 3 years earlier before it was ripe and ready to go, right? We're just, as real estate investors, I plant a seed, I wait for it to produce fruit. You're taxing me on a fruit tree that has not produced any fruit yet. Think about that. Kamala Harris is taxing you on fruit that you have not even produced yet. You're out there, you plant the seed, you water, you wait for it to germinate, you're pruning the trees, it's 4 years into the making, and you're sitting there going, I can't wait until I get my harvest. She's taxing you before your harvest is even there. So what I'm having to do is going to my neighbor and saying, hey, neighbor, can I borrow money from your harvest to pay money on a harvest that has not even happened for me yet? That is what Kamala Harris is proposing. It's absolutely crazy. And before you say it's not going to happen, they've already done it in Canada. Canada has already passed this law, which is why so many Canadians are investing in real estate in America. People will vote with their money, even if they don't vote at the ballot, okay? So here's what I do with my money, and this is how this screws up. You can already see I have $1 million less. Okay, great. Well, what I do is I sell these properties. We take this money. I don't go live off this money. I don't go buy a boat or go do anything with this money. I 1031 exchange it into a bigger property. So here's a property we closed on last summer. Okay, sub-2 fund. We, by the way, if you guys ever have multifamily deals and you want to sell me a multifamily deal, just email invest@sub2fund.com. Always happy to take a look at your deals. Or if you guys want to deploy money into some of these projects, let me know. What I do is I go buy this property, $20 million. I got it on seller finance. The seller says, hey, I will carry $15 million for you, but I want $5 million as a down payment. Cool, no problem. So what I do is I bring my 1.4 million, okay, and then I go to my friends, or I go to some of my students. A lot of my students invested in this deal, and I go raise the remaining $3,600,000, okay? If Kamala Harris took my money back here, I would have had to raise $4.6 million, right? It's so crazy to me that this is even a proposal. It's so crazy to me. Okay, so here's what's cool about this property. I bought it for $20 million. The seller is giving me 4% interest on the $15 million. For those of you guys that go Pace Morby as a single family guy, I have way more multifamily doors than they have single family doors. But here's a $20 million creative finance deal. No money of my own, right? Even this $1.4 million, I've never touched this money. I'm just rolling it into the bigger deal. Okay, so what's my end game here? Well, here's my end game. We always provide affordable housing. This is $400 per month under the market rents. So think about this. You guys think we're just these greedy piece of crap real estate investors. Maybe there are some for sure, and those guys get a bad rap. But every property I own focuses on affordable housing. Focuses on affordable housing. I've got 160 people here, okay? And by the way, we have a video. Well, maybe we'll have to stitch a video together for you guys to see, but we had, out of those 160 tenants, We've had tenants come along and go, man, this is the greatest property. Please don't raise the rents. We go, don't worry, we're not going to raise the rents. We're not going to raise the rents in your units, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We got videos of these people just saying, thank you for buying this property. Thank you for keeping under rent pricing. Okay, great. So now what's my plan with this property? I've got to hold this property now for probably 10 years. Another 10 years. So think about this. Along the way, I'm going to have Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris, Kamala Harris, all the way up. 10 times Kamala Harris is going to steal my money that I have not even received. I haven't even received the money. A lot of real estate investors, we play the long game, right? We buy these properties. We use the cash flow to pay our payrolls, pay our daily bills. We take the gain from that. We roll it into bigger things. And along the way, providing affordable housing the entire time. Then we take that money and we wait for it to go up from $20 million where we bought it to $35 million where it will be in probably 10 years. My portion of that $35 million will be about $5 million. Now, what do? Well, I wait for it to appreciate, which is what we just did. I wait for it to get paid down, right? My tenants will pay down a lot of my debts, which is awesome. Then I cash flow along the way. Right now, this property we bought is cash flowing $50,000 a month. Do you know how many people I employ with that money? So many people get employed with that money, $50,000 a month. Then, based on market timing, let's say interest rates drop. I then take my chips off the table. What I do is I do a refinance. I pull out my $5 million because I've put $1.4 million in. I didn't pay any tax on that, which is great, through a 1031. I wait for it to appreciate, and then I go to the bank and we do a tax-free cash-out refinance. So I then sit and watch my legacy grow. So now I've got a higher loan, right? I go get a loan. Right now we've got a seller finance loan at $15 million. When it goes up to this $35 million, we'll go to a bank and we'll say, hey, bank, we want a loan for $28 million because that's all they'll probably give us. You know, they want us to have some skin in the game, so they'll make us have $7 million in equity. We want a loan for $28 million. With that loan, we take that $28 million, pay off whatever is left over with the seller, and now we have a new loan, and we wait for our tenants to pay that off too. But it took me 15 years to accumulate that $5 million on this one project. It took me 15 years, okay? And now what do I do with that $5 million? I either go produce more jobs with it, or I go lend it out and I make other people's projects make a lot more money. That $5 million is tax-free, which is awesome. This is the way the tax codes work now. This allows people like me to produce jobs. This allows people like me to pay my bills. And if you're going to tax me along the way on a tree that has not produced one single harvest, you're dismantling the way this country is meant to be, right? Enterprise, it's just government coming in and taking our money. I'm literally, this morning when I read this article, I said, I'm leaving America. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm leaving America. Can I just start my own country? This is ridiculous. So I want to show you guys that this actually has real implications for real estate investors like myself. And these long-term cycles that we go through, this is how not only I retire, who cares about me, but this is how a lot of my team members will retire. A lot of my team members will be tied into the equity growth of this. This is their 401k. This is their retirement savings account, right? You guys might be at a Fortune 500 company as somebody has a 9-to-5 job, sitting there contributing to your 401k and they're matching and all of that kind of stuff. I don't have that at my company. This is our 401k. And so Kamala Harris is taxing my 401k for my employees along the way, and you're diminishing the way my employees will retire. This is a significant issue. And there's so much more to this. She's raising the corporate tax rate. When they did the tax breaks a couple of years back, right? Trump did the tax breaks. They did the science and they said, or they did the numbers on it. They said 74% of all tax break money that all these weird Republicans received, 74% of it went into hiring people and creating jobs. 74% of the tax breaks. So taxes, hiking the rich does not help the country. That is proven to be the case. This is a big deal. Tell me what your thoughts are down in the description or down in the comments down below. And look down in the description. We'll give you guys a free wholesale contract at some point. We'll give you guys a link to that at some point. And maybe a free wholesale contract, something along those lines. Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments down below.